Well, welcome to a very special Chris and Edmi's Kitchen. Now, typically I cook in the kitchen with one Puerto Rican, known as Edmi. If you haven't watched the show, it's Chris and Edmi's Kitchen. But you can see there's been a little pre-gaming going on here. Today we're doing something very special. It's authentic to the Puerto Rican culture and Christmas, and it's a dish, and it's a thing that they like to make, and it's become sort of something that they do every year together as friends. So typically I would do this with one Puerto Rican in the kitchen, but what's better than having three Latinas in my kitchen? What are we gonna make today?
Pasteles! Because we're not
Wish me luck.
Okay, so it's this gringo's very lucky day. Look what I have in my kitchen. 3 Latina beauties. Oh my goodness! But well, I think you know this one right over here. This is Edmi. But Edmi, introduce your friends.
No, let them introduce themselves. These are my friends. We've been friends since we were in college. And now we got together again once we've been living here in New York. And this is
Giselle.
Known as G.
Known as G.
True. Maria Cristina.
Known as MC.
Exactly.
It makes it easier for me, by the way.
Exactly.
But you guys are really like family, and you started doing
That's
something,
true.
making this dish in a traditional way a while back. So how did that get started?
I think that you
Oh boy,
You
look what I
started.
did. Look what I started.
Wait, no, it started.
No, it was you.
I know,
sure.
but you were there first.
Yes.
Maybe like, let's say 10 years ago. Then Edmi joined about 5, 6 or
years
more.
ago, yes.
Like
I think
6 or 7 years ago.
So let's talk about the dishes, pasteles. So what is a pastele, and what does it mean to you guys from growing up as Puerto
It
Rican?
means
Oh
Christmas.
my
Yes,
God.
It's just
what
it
means.
means Christmas.
It's Christmas. It's a dish we always do in Christmas. And I remember as a child, my grandmother on the terrace, the day we were making pasteles, she would lay down a long table. She did a caldero, like a
big pot, like a big pot.
this big, full of meat.
Wow.
We have this little one.
That is many pastel.
And the assembling, and everybody in the family just sat down on the table, and you started with the leaves, the paper, someone fill it in, someone put the mass, and it passed
That's
down
awesome.
until
So-
and something.
Awesome.
And then we started doing that. You know, they invited me. She started, or one of the
She
two.
started.
Well, the thing is that my grandmother gave me her recipe. Like she made a drawing of how to put it together, and she gave me the recipe before she passed. Like maybe a couple of years she passed away, and when she passed away, I'm like, you know what?
I'm gonna
It's
do
my turn because my mother doesn't really cook.
Oh.
She doesn't cook. So although she's been making pasteles, I don't know how that tastes.
sorry,
You haven't tried it, but mom.
But let me.
But it's funny because now I bring pasteles from New York to Puerto Rico.
Oh, that's
So
right.
that's something.
I was going to say, let me ask you this, because I noticed that when you guys make these, it's just not for like, oh, I'm making them for tonight kind of a thing.
Oh, no.
You're making them and freezing
For the
them.
whole
Yeah.
Christmas, because it's such a hard. It's not easy. It's a lot of process, right?
Yeah.
We made shortcuts.
And it seems like during the whole holiday season, when you go and visit somebody's home, you're like, oh, I brought 6 or 8 pasteles with me. And
Exactly.
yeah, it's kind of like
And
almost a
Puerto Rican-
gift.
Puerto Rican Christmas starts from Thanksgiving to January 6th.
So not even
Even
later.
la so it's
Yeah.
like later. So it's like 2 months.
So you need a good
You need a lot.
stack of pasteles.
Right, so what we did a little pre-work on how we put the meat and all that stuff together, but the fun part is coming up next, so we
Yes,
want to get to that.
Which is, we're gonna do the masa.
The masa.
That's this?
Like
This is
dough.
part. This is
The
the
dough.
dough.
Which, by the
Oh,
way-
we gotta explain that there's 3 different kind of pasteles. You do pasteles of bananas,
Banana.
guineo,
Green banana.
green bananas. You
Is that
do
plantain?
pastel-
That's plantain?
No, no,
Oh,
that's green banana.
Green banana is not plantain.
No.
Oh, the gringos have an accent.
Plantain is big.
Plantain,
Banana is
exactly.
the
No,
one
like bananas that you eat.
that you eat.
Just green.
But
Regular
green.
banana,
Green,
but
yes.
green.
Yeah.
But green.
This is very confusing to me.
And
Keep
then there's another one, a rice pastel, which
Nena,
is made
what
of
are you talking
rice.
about?
No,
You
there's
never
people.
had the rice here, but they weren't that great. But anyway,
because not it's not.
Excuse me.
Okay.
How do you make a rice pastel?
instead of a masa is
Oh,
rice.
yes.
Well, they
Here.
discussed that.
Put
We'll be
that
back
in
with how this is
here,
all going to
but I
get put
went to
together. Okay, we'll see in a we'll see.
what are we doing here? What's going on?
We are gonna start the masa, which is what covers the pastel. It's made of yuca. So we have yuca, 5 pounds of shredded yuca that we shredded.
That Giselle shredded
night.
all by herself.
This is one.
Look at those guns. Look at those guns. See?
This is jautilla, 1 jautilla, shredded
Chautilla.
on the food processor.
It's a root.
This is 1 cup of milk. 1 cup of milk.
Leche.
Leche. And
See,
this
my
is
Spanish is getting really,
the
isn't it
sauce
amazing? Yeah.
from the meat. And Maria Cristina, you explain what
Yeah, this
you're
is kind of
doing.
cool. I like, this is always my favorite part.
I have no idea how you say this in English, but
So these are, what kind of leaves are these?
plantain.
you can-
Plantain leaves.
So now the purpose is you heat them.
To take out the flavor, like to seal the flavor.
Make them a little bit more
More,
bendable.
exactly.
Oh,
Because
really?
you're gonna fold the pastel in that.
So by heating them, they become more flexible.
Yeah, because if not, they break.
So the pasteli will be wrapped.
Yeah,
In
the
this.
thing is that the pastel needs to be wrapped on this, so it gets the flavor of the plantain.
This is achiote or anato in lard. So you could do it in olive oil.
Or vegetable oil.
For our healthy friends, let's say it's olive oil.
We added the jautilla, 1 jautilla. We added half a cup of milk. We added some of the anato oil, achiote oil, and we're gonna have some juice from the meat
Okay.
to flavor it, because it has to be flavored. A lot of salt, because this has to be tasteful. If la masa is not tasteful, forget it. You don't have a good
Then you don't have the pasteli. So for all of you, this is really like something you remember from childhood in Puerto Rico. I mean, it's that traditional. It's been going. Yeah.
Like, if you don't have pasteles at Christmas, then you don't have Christmas.
Was somebody putting raisins? What was the thing?
Yes,
Raisins,
we do
right?
Yeah, there is a debate.
put raisins.
Some
I
people
remember there
like
being a debate
raisins.
about that.
Some people like raisins, some people don't like raisins on it. The same with ketchup. Some people,
Ketchup?
Yep. Some people
Add ketchup.
ketchup.
That's
to
very
it.
gringo ketchup.
that,
I don't know if Heinz belongs in a Puerto
So-
Rican pasteli. I'm sorry.
Well, it's become tradition to put
Really?
ketchup.
Well, we're all one people in the end of the day. That's what I love. And I love that everybody here is working in the kitchen and I'm just standing here holding the camera.
I want to go in with my hands, or do
I
you want to
think
go?
so. Do you
Yeah.
Go ahead, let me see it. Let me see it.
It
Let's see
needs
those.
to go to the
These,
microwave.
these are all washed and disinfected
There you
hands.
go.
Everybody
washed
here has
them
been
already.
tested, by the way.
Everybody
good.
here took the test
Just
to
so you
be
guys
right
know,
here.
very
We're all clean
recently.
and safe.
Yeah, look at this. Oh,
And then
those
you
magical
go with your
hands.
Nena,
Now, have you tasted it? Try it, taste it.
pero
Because we have
espérate.
to see if it has the right amount of salt.
Needs more salt.
More salt. huh?
Espérate,
Okay.
no,
It's always
no,
more
no.
salt. Always more salt. Hey, try it. MC?
No, salt.
Okay.
Okay, so everything's been brought to the table.
Everything, yeah.
So here we go. So what do we have here?
So this is the assembly line. So we put paper, we put a leaf.
What kind of paper?
Oh, it says pasteles paper. You know,
Oh, it's pasteles paper, yeah.
buy pasteles
Oh,
paper.
good lord.
No, it's like a parchment paper.
What are you putting on here?
So I'm putting the achiote anato oil. And we put like a hefty spoonful of mass. And I pass it on to her.
Her,
Then she's
MC.
MC is gonna put some.
MC puts the filling, which I like to call the really good stuff.
Because
Yes.
that's the stuff.
And we do a little folding action.
And then the folding goes.
So you have to double it, and then
This is like something
go
you're
like
actually going to
this.
send in the U.S. mail, the way you guys are wrapping it up.
actually yes.
Yep.
And then she's gonna wrap it.
And Giselle, who is the taster and the wrapper.
Pero que tú haces,
Espérate,
Giselle?
tranquila.
Mamá.
Sort of. Okay, so this is the
That's
finished
the
product.
finished product.
So now, I know you freeze a lot of these,
Yes.
but what would you do with this at this point if you weren't going to freeze it? You wanted to cook it.
You boil it.
So now you
Well,
boil
if
it.
you boil it for 20 minutes in water.
It could even be 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So a quick boil, 10,
15.
15 minutes.
10-15 minute boil.
And so if frozen, how long would you have to boil it then?
20 minutes if they're frozen. If they're just not frozen, then you do it for
Well,
20
it
minutes.
also depends the size. So if you make it depends the size because you can from frozen, it can be only 30 to 45 minutes if they're not that big.
It's always about the size, isn't it?
It's about. I agree. Dale, dale, dale.
Assembly line continues. Okay.
I didn't think it would happen, but we finally made it to the end.
What
It's been a
happened
long
in
day.
between is a mystery.
You know, I thought the beef bourguignon recipe took forever. This was like an entire part of my life. Let's just leave it at that. But let's just say salud.
Salud.
Salud. Chin chin.
Buen provecho, because we are
provecho.
about to indulge in these wonderful pasteles.
So let's taste
This
the
is our little
pastel.
girl, by the way, if you haven't seen some
Ay,
little
tan
wine.
linda.
This is
She's
Tula.
a new baby girl.
Vamos a ver. Emmy.
Well, everybody's style of these is a little bit different.
I gotta say,
Yeah.
this tastes like Christmas.
Old school Christmas again.
Yeah, this is good. Like my brother
Yeah,
would
it's so
say,
good.
they're good. My brother would say, like last time I did them and he tried them, he was like, they're almost like mamita, like our
Almost.
grandmother. We call mamita. It's like they're almost like mamita. I think this year he would say they are like mamitas because they're better. They're better, right?
Emmy,
Because
they're
if you
so
can,
good.
if you
I
can do
know.
the
Actually,
recipe,
they're
we
so
did it. We
Yeah.
all did it.
They're so
They're
good.
Congrats. There was,
Even
a
the
lot,
Tula.
there was a lot of tweaking involved in this, but
Oh, totally. But
these are really good.
they're
Good,
really
right?
good.
We have to save some for your friend Jose, who, by the way, he always asks for the pasteles. He's a friend of Emmy's, and she'll give him like one, and he looks at it on the plate. He's like,
That's all you
this
give
is
me?
it?
No, we have some for you,
So
Jose.
yeah, Jose gets at least a half dozen. So
By the way, Jose gave us a whole 20-pound turkey.
Oh my god.
To cook it at some point.
so Jose deserves some pasteles.
You have to.
For you,
He
Jose, some
deserves
pasteles.
some pastel. So you'll get
Oh my god, this is so good.
This is so
Very
good.
good.
They're good.
Oh my god.
So everyone, here's the pasteles recipe. If you want to try it, try it. If you don't want to try it, then it's okay. Find someone else, but they're not gonna be as good.
Oh no, no.
No, homemade's always the best with something
It's
like this.
always the best, and you know it's a tradition that we want
It's a tradition
to keep
that we
on
have to keep on
spreading,
going,
and we
yeah.
have to keep on going. You want your niece to learn it. I want my nieces to learn it, and I make sure that I pass this recipe into them, so that the tradition keeps on going. Because, listen, if you buy them, they might be good. They might be like okay, but when you make them and you try to make them perfect,
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah.
this is what happens.
Emmy, these are great.
They're good, right? So
you.
we did it.
Okay,
Yeah.
everybody.
And also,
Oh, there's more.
well, I mean, things like if you do it the first time and it doesn't taste like your grandma, it's okay.
Right.
It took us 5
5
years
years,
to
yes,
get to like,
true.
oh my god, this, and now we're consistently doing the taste that we want and the consistency that we want. So it takes time, but
It's worth it.
good.
It's worth it.
Quick
It's
question.
worth it.
Quick question about this though,
Yes.
in terms of when you serve it during the holidays. Is this considered an appetizer? Is it the main meal? Like what?
It is
what-
a side
Part of the
dish.
main.
Side
It's
dish.
a
Side
side dish.
Which would be typically served with what? Like a
Like
pernil?
arroz con
Pernil?
hule, pernil.
Okay.
You need pork,
Like pork.
and then the rice.
And then the pigeon peas rice.
Pasteles are wonderful though.
Oh
But
my
anyway,
god, you're gonna have pernil.
I will. Let's say goodbye. Cheers. Stay
Salud.
well. Stay safe.
Thank
Until
you,
next
everybody.
time.
Thank you girls for joining us.
No,
By the
thank
way,
you.
they're our first guest on the
true.
show.
Live,
God.
live and in person. Next episode, brajol. I have no idea. Something that sounds Italian at least.
I
All right.
agree. I agree. We're gonna call this
I'm
That's the name of the
Wish me
show.
luck. All right, stay well. Next time.